I understand, Ronak, we should begin.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we can start. So, hello,
Yes.
I'm Ronak. I'm a member of Azim Premji University Alumni Group, and I'm very excited to welcome you all into Samvaad. So, what is Samvaad? So, Samvaad is basically an initiative by APU Alumni Group to initiate and encourage discussions around various developmental discourse. So, we encourage discussions that are grounded in reliable data and research, which are clear and concise, and we do not align with any group or any ideology. And anyone who is invited in our series represent their own opinion, and we are kind of very open platform which is here just to encourage this kind of conversation. So currently, this initiative is being led by Bihar Alumni Group, and we are starting our series focusing on Bihar Assembly elections. So why Bihar elections? So to give you a gist in just a few sentences. So if the Indian state of Bihar were its own country, it would be 10th or 11th largest country in the world. It is larger than any country in Europe. Accordingly, we see that its elections are the 13th largest in the world, larger than any national election in Europe other than Russia's election. Now it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our guest of today's session. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, a political strategist and founder of VoteVibe. Amitabh Tiwari is a renowned political strategist, election analyst, and commentator who decodes the pulse of Indian voters through data-driven research. As a founder of VoteVibe, he leads political opinion surveys and voter sentiment studies nationwide. With vast experience in political consulting and campaign strategy, he is known for transforming complex pooling data into clear, actionable insights.
I would just like to share a PPT because, yeah, thank you. Yeah. So in the interest of time, we'll just flip through some things and then move ahead. Yeah. So just a short recap of Bihar 2020. So it was a very close election, 125 to NDA, 110 to Mahagathbandhan, and the difference was 12,000 votes roughly between the two alliances. 123 is the simple majority, or rather 122 is the simple majority. Yeah, let's move ahead. Now, if you see caste community wise support for main parties in Bihar, largely the Mahagathbandhan gets Muslim Yadav votes in large numbers compared to NDA, whereas the NDA gets SC, ST, upper caste, OBC, EBC vote in large numbers compared to Mahagathbandhan. Let's move ahead. Yeah. So if you see the movement of caste groups, what happened in 2020 was that the Mahagathbandhan gained considerable vote share across caste groups compared to the 2019 Lok Sabha election. Upper caste 10%, Yadav 17, Muslim 5, OBC, EBC 7, SC, ST 7, 3. That's why the elections became closer, correct? Let's move ahead. If you see the breakup of vote share, now both of them got 37%, but how are they getting this vote share? Correct. Now this shows the reliance on key vote blocks for different groups. So for NDA, if you see OBC, EBC voters comprise of half of the total vote share, 18 out of 37. Whereas Mahagathbandhan, 24% out of 37, which is roughly 2/3, comes from Yadavs and Muslims. Correct. Let's go ahead. If you see region wise, and try to do a correlation between Muslim population and SC population, and where did NDA and Mahagathbandhan do well, if you see, actually due to polarization, NDA did well wherever the Muslim population is higher than state average. So let's say Purnia, 46% is the Muslim population. Mahagathbandhan was trailing in that region. Tirhut is 18%, again equal to or just higher than state average. It was trailing. Darbhanga, it was trailing. But wherever the Muslim population is higher than the SC population is higher than the state average, let's say Magad 31%, Bhojpur 22%, the Mahagathbandhan was ahead. So this is very contrary to the general perception, correct? We'll discuss why this is happening. And even in Munger and Patna, where the SC population is decent, it was a tie. Let's move ahead. So the LJP essentially played a very big factor in Bihar. Let's move ahead. It damaged NDA in 40 seats and Mahagathbandhan in 32 seats. So when we say damaged, it got more votes than margin of victory. So if you see JDU, because it put up candidates only against JDU, it damaged JDU in 33 seats. So if you add 43 and 33, 43 is the tally of JDU, it would have actually won 76 seats. Its tally looks bad largely because LJP contested or rebelled and contested against JDU. Let's go ahead. Strike rate of parties, if you see, even the RJD, who is the captain of Mahagathbandhan, is at 50%. JDU is at 37%. And largely the Mahagathbandhan lost due to Congress, 27%. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Yeah. Just a quick recap. Phase wise, if you see, Mahagathbandhan was ahead in phase 1 and 2. And probably because of overconfidence, it lost significantly in phase 3, which was actually the strength area of Mahagathbandhan, in the sense phase 3 was largely Purnia and Kosi and the Simanchal region where the Muslim population is high. Yeah, let's move ahead. Yeah, 55% of the repeated MLAs won. That's just data. Yeah, let's go ahead. It was a fairly close contest. On 52 seats, the victory margin was less than 5,000 votes. Let's move ahead. The youth vote was largely split between the two. Almost both of them got almost equal vote share, which was their average vote share for the state, 37% each. Let's move ahead. But as we move, the senior citizens voted more for NDA than Mahagathbandhan. Gender-wise, also contrary to general perception that women vote in large numbers for NDA, at least in 2020, as per CSDS, it's almost the same. Let's go ahead. This is important. Now, vote transfer in any alliance, vote transfer is very, very important. The JDU's tally fell from 71 to 43. One of the reasons we saw is that the LJP played a spoiler, correct? Now, what happened is that wherever BJP candidate was there for the alliance NDA, 55% of JDU, 75% of JDU voters voted for BJP. But wherever JDU candidate was there, only 55% of BJP voters voted for JDU candidate. And that is also a reason why their tally was down, because many people did not want BJP to continue or to have Nitish as the CM face, or they wanted BJP to play the bigger brother role, and this will again come into picture in this election as well. Let's go ahead. CM preference, largely both were similar. Let's go ahead. Yeah, head-to-head contest, if you see, BJP Again, because elections is like a cricket team. So if you see a cricket tournament, if you see NDA comprised largely of three teams in 2020. Even now, it is largely three players: JDU, BJP, and Chirag. This time, okay. So JDU was the captain, BJP was the vice captain, sort of. In Mahagathbandhan, you have RJD, Congress, and left parties. RJD was the captain, and Congress was the vice captain. So in NDA, the captain was not informed, JDU. The vice captain BJP was informed actually. Whereas in Mahagathbandhan, the captain was informed, Tejasvi RJD, but the vice captain had the lowest strike rate and did not perform up to expectations, which is the Congress. Let's move ahead. And even in Muslim Yadav influence seats, the MJD, the Mahagathbandhan, which is RJD and Congress alliance, did not perform well, and this is largely due to polarization, as we discussed earlier. Let's move ahead. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, just a recap of. So 2025 is also going to be a very close election, just like 2020, because they both alliances have fixed vote blocks and dedicated vote blocks of 30 to 35%. And then there are floating voters, roughly 20%, who could move to either of the alliances or could prefer either of the alliances depending upon the campaign momentum, the distribution of tickets, the performance of the MLAs, etc., etc. So there is still time, 3 months almost, wherein these swing voters could decide who to vote for. So we did a survey on Bihar, and I'll just run through the findings. If you can just, let's move. Yeah. So anti-incumbency, the level of anti-incumbency, if you see, against the government. Now we have to understand that Nitish Kumar and Nitish Kumar government are two different entities. Nitish Kumar government means Nitish Kumar plus deputy CM plus ministers plus the officials, etc. And always there are four levels where anti-incumbency develops. One is at the leader or CM level, then is at the MLA level, then is at the bureaucracy level, then is at the level of tehsil or police station or schools or hospitals where people, normal people, interact with the government officials. So the level of anti-incumbency is high, fairly high at 48%, which is natural for a 20-year government. Let's move. The anti-incumbency against MLAs is also very high. Almost 55% do not want to vote for their MLAs. What does this mean? This means that there will be a high number of ticket denials. This also corresponds to the fact, if you recall, only 55% of the people or MLAs who recontested won in 2020 also. It was there in the earlier slides. Let's move. The level of anti-incumbency is high, but when we ask the voters who do you trust for the development of Bihar, 36% Mahagathbandhan, 35% NDA, which is just 1% lead or less than 1% lead to Mahagathbandhan, and it is within the margin of error. So which means it's almost a tie, and 10% for Jan Suraj. But what does it mean is that the anti-incumbency, which was 48%, is getting split between Mahagathbandhan and Jan Suraj, 36 and 10. So there is anti-incumbency, but it is getting split. Let's move ahead. When we asked who do you trust for employment generation, here Mahagathbandhan is around 40. It's largely because of the fact that Tejasvi Yadav seems to have taken credit for the 4 to 5 lakh job creation when he was the deputy CM in the 17-month government with Nitish. Let's move ahead. Yeah, how is law and order? How do people perceive law and order? Because there was a lot of issues related to law and order recently. So when we ask this question, it seems that on a very rough basis, one third, one third, one third. So one third people, or rather 30% people say it has improved, 30% no change, neutral, and one third people are saying it has deteriorated. So law and order is the strongest, or used to be the strongest point of Nitish Kumar. But the recent events tend to have had a negative impact on this image. Of course, this will have some recency bias when we ask this question to people, because it was done at during the period when there were a lot of incidents. Let's move ahead. Yeah. Now this question again was asked to BJP supporters or voters. Do you want Nitish to be the CM face? And here 25% say yes because he has done good work. 25% no, yes, because he is a majburi. BJP does not have any other leader. But one third people say no, he should not be the CM face, especially when we have, as in BJP has more MLAs than JDU, and BJP has more number of ministers than JDU. This will lead to vote transfer issues, which we have discussed earlier. Wherever there is JDU candidate, will all the BJP voters or supporters back JDU? It's a question mark. Correct. Let's move ahead. Ahead. Yeah. Now we asked on SIR because that's a hot topic. So 35% people said, because people are in a wait and watch mode, let's say. 35%, it was done in July, so it was done in before the publication of the results of the draft voter roll. 35% people said it is an effort or an attempt to remove illegal voters. 15% said it's a normal exercise. 27% said it is not required, and 15% said it's an effort to manipulate results. So again, 50-50 sort of. 50% saying it's a routine exercise done to remove illegal voters. 42% saying, or rather, 42%, 43% saying it was not required and it has been done to manipulate results. Just two more questions now. Yeah. What is the biggest issue in this election? Clearly, 50% people are saying unemployment is the biggest issue. 25 less than 25 years population in Bihar is 50%, more than 50% actually, and 18 to 35 is again, voter group is again more than 50%. So it's very obvious. 50% people are saying unemployment is the biggest issue, and then you have Mehengai 11%, law and order 12%, SIR 4%, corruption 9%, other regular issues which we see in other states as well. Yeah, last question, please. I mean, this is again a utopian sort of a question. Do you want the way politics is done in Bihar, which is centered around caste? I mean, most of the people say yes, we want it to change, but it will change or not, I am not sure, because there is a survey from Azim Premji University, I mean your university itself, which says that 57% of people in Bihar prefer leader of their own caste. And this number nationally is 55%. So it's not, I mean, it's not more in Bihar compared to other states, but that's a fact. Correct. So yeah, this is over. So you can close this also if you want. Yeah. So essentially, it is a very close election, just like last time. What has happened in the last 5 years is that there is an entry of a new player, Jansuraj, like a third front. You can compare it with even LJP contesting separately in 2020. Now, LJP, of course, when it contested separately, compared to Jansuraj, it was a much stronger force, correct? Because it was a party in existence for 15 years, but it contested only on seats against the JDU. So, if you look at the vote share of LJP, it is 5 or 6%, 5 to 6%. But it contested only on half of the seats. which means that its vote share or contested vote share is 10%. This is what we are getting for Jan Suraj also. Correct. So what is Jan Suraj doing is that Bihar has always had a big others vote, 20 to 25% others, independent, smaller parties, DSP, AIMIM, SP, RLSP, etc., etc. Now it is consolidating that others vote also, because that others voter now has a face, a sound face. Plus, because it is splitting the anti-incumbency vote, as we saw, the anti-incumbency getting split into MGB and Mahagadbandhan and Jan Suraj, it logically, theoretically, it is damaging Mahagadbandhan, because that's an opportunity loss for Mahagadbandhan, sort of. Correct. But it is also damaging NDA in a way that now it is also amplifying the anti-incumbency issues. And so earlier there was one party or alliance which was targeting the NDA. Now there are two. Some people could argue that he is doing a better job than MGP because he is coming up with data and facts. So the anti-incumbency voice gets amplified, because now you have two people attacking the government. Earlier you had one. Of course, on different seat by seat, because a lot of voting is on caste basis, he will damage different parties. Even in the by-polls, he had got 10% share, Jan Suraj, on the 4 seats. Now, if you see, Nitish Kumar is an asset as well as a liability. Correct. People will say, how can this happen? I mean, how can a person be asset also? But if people here are students of commerce, assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. Correct. So he's an asset in a sense that he has a dedicated vote bank of 12% to 15%, comprising Kurmis, PVCs, Mahadalits, and women. The Mahadalit category was created by Nitish Kumar. That's why they owe their allegiance to Nitish. No other alliance can give a Kurmi or a EBC or a Mahadalit CM. Plus, his image is good. His image is relatively good. I mean, he's not. Those allegations have not stuck on him. So he has that vote bank. Even amongst BJP, he has that 25% of voters who feel he is a majburi and 25% feel he has done good work. So even amongst BJP voters, half of them feel Nitish is a good bet or the only bet. I think one question somehow I missed there is that who should be the CM face? Now, when we asked this question, 32% said Tejasvi Yadav and 25% said Nitish Kumar. So Nitish Kumar, even after 20 years, is getting 25%. Some of his supporters, 12 to 15, and some of the supporters of BJP are also voting, naming him as the CM face. 12% is Prashant Kishore, and 9% is Chirag Paswan. 4% is Samrat Chaudhary. Now, though Tejasvi leads the CM face, what is happening is that Mahagadbandhan has only one leader. He is fighting a lonely battle, which is Tejasvi. I mean, some people can argue that, I mean, it is due to him. He is not allowing a Pappu Yadav or a Kanhaiya Kumar or others to take center stage. But but in NDA, there are a bouquet of leaders. Nitish Kumar is one. He brings that EBC, Kurmi, Mahadalit woman. Chirag Paswan brings the Paswan voter. Samrat Chaudhary brings the Kushwaha voter. Manji brings the Mahadalit voter. Vijay Sinha, let's say, brings the Kayast voter. So there is a bouquet of leaders, and all these leaders are bringing 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% votes. So there is a combined leadership versus a single sort of a leadership there. Tejasvi leads amongst youth because unemployment is the biggest issue. But amongst 18 to 24, Jan Suraj also has a decent presence, because this 18 to 24 age group is consuming everything on social media, and his social and digital media campaign is very good compared to others. Correct. And if you see caste-wise dynamics, even amongst caste, Prashant Kishore is getting support from upper caste, because the upper caste, Brahmins, Thakurs, etc., see, I mean, a section of upper caste, let's say 20% roughly, see that only Jansuraj can give a upper caste CM after 35 years in Bihar. Because BJP is not projecting a CM. BJP is saying, at least till elections, Nitish is the face. After elections, we will see. But it is not promising an upper caste CM, correct? And it's a very caste-ridden society. To us, 1/5 of upper caste voters see hope in Prashant, that if his party wins, an upper caste CM will be installed. Structural challenges with Mahagathbandhan is that it is not able to expand beyond Muslim Yadav vote. The Yadav and the EBC vote is also sort of an antagonistic vote block. Correct, because the Yadavs and the EBCs and the Dalits combined together or joined together to dislodge the upper caste government of Janardhan Mishra, let's say in 1990 sort of. But the fruits of power were enjoyed largely by Yadav. So there is you can say a distrust between these two communities. But Mahagathbandhan cannot win without getting EBC vote or non-Yadav OBC vote or a Dalit Mahadalit vote. It needs one or two of these vote blocks to win, because just on MY it cannot win the election. Correct. So both are facing challenges. It's largely a very seat by seat game. Very on each seat, what is the caste arithmetic, which will come into play. How the campaign picks up from here. What is the distribution of seats, as in which party gets how many seats, etc., etc. So the election is a very open election as of now, but it is almost 50-50. So it's like a toss of a coin.
As you rightly pointed it out, votes are many times driven by emotions. So the recent phenomena have a great impact on vote. तो अभी हाल फिलहाल में बिहार का नॉर्दर्न पार्ट काफी फ्लड से हिट हुआ है, तो उसको देखते हुए आप को लगता है कि आने वाले इलेक्शन में इसका कुछ इम्पैक्ट होने वाला है इस इलेक्शन पे?
देखिए क्या है कि अब इसको दूसरे तरीके से देखा जाए तो जब भी चुनाव हुआ होगा तब फ्लड हुआ होगा, क्योंकि ये कोई नई बात नहीं है. लेट्स बी, हर चुनाव में हर साल फ्लड होता है. ठीक है. अब ये ऐसा स्ट्रक्चरल इशू है कि ना लालू के राज में सॉल्व हुआ, ना नीतीश कुमार के राज में सॉल्व हुआ है. मतलब इट्स अ स्ट्रक्चरल, देयर आर सम इश्यूज which cannot be solved easily. So which means that is not the only reason that people affected by floods will be voting on. अगर आप वहां वोटर हैं, मान लेते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, हर साल फ्लड आ रहा है, हर साल यही सिचुएशन है, लालू के राज में भी वही था, नीतीश के राज में भी यही है. कुछ लोग कह सकते हैं कि भाई इन दोनों को देख लिया, अब जनसुराज को देखेंगे. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग हाइपोथेटिकल थिंग. ठीक है. कुछ लोग कह सकते हैं कि भाई अब ये तो सॉल्व होने वाला इशू नहीं है, ये तो नेचर का ये है. चलो ठीक है, अब तो जो है सो है, हम तो अपनी जाति के आधार पे वोट करते हैं, उसी के आधार पे करेंगे. बिकॉज इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स अपॉन के रिलीफ पैकेज कैसा दिया है, किसको मिला है, किसको नहीं मिला है. करेक्ट. बिहार जैसे राज्य में क्या है कि बहुत सारी चीजें आपने फेट अकम्पली ले ली है कि ऐसे ही चलता है, ऐसे ही होता है ना. पीपल हैव टेकन अ लॉट ऑफ दीज mishaps or the situation as their destiny or fate, which cannot be changed. And that's also something to ponder over. I mean, it's a very serious thing. Correct. कि भाई अगर बिहार लोएस्ट पर कैपिटा इनकम है तो अब यही रहने वाला है. भाई बिहार एक अगर गरीब राज्य है तो गरीब राज्य ही रहेगा, है ना. तो उसका इम्पैक्ट होगा, बट हमको फिर ये सोचना है कि हर बार तो होता ही है नहीं है. हाँ, अब उस पिछले बार के हिसाब से इस बार के फ्लड्स में कुछ डिफरेंस है क्या? क्या ज्यादा लोग हताहत हुए हैं? क्या सरकारी रिलीफ पैकेज जो है पहले अच्छा था, इस बार खराब है? तो इसका इम्पैक्ट होगा। अदरवाइज आई मीन अनफॉर्चुनेटली होना चाहिए इम्पैक्ट, बट आई डोंट थिंक देन विल मेक अ सीरियस इम्पैक्ट।
थैंक यू। एक और सवाल है मेरा कि इलेक्शंस में आपको क्या लगता है पॉपुलिस्ट पॉलिसीज कैसे इन्फ्लुएंस करती है वोट को? जैसे अभी ही अनाउंसमेंट हुआ है कि बिजली 125 यूनिट फ्री दी जाएगी, तो इस तरह के बहुत अनाउंसमेंट्स जो है वो कॉमन है इंडिया में वेरियस स्टेट इलेक्शन में। तो बिहार के कंटेक्स्ट को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये कैसे इम्पैक्ट करेगा या करता है या नहीं करता है?
देखिए, दो तरह के वोटर हैं, एक फिक्स्ड वोटर है और एक स्विंग या न्यूट्रल वोटर है, फ्लोटिंग वोटर है, लेट्स से, करेक्ट। अब कोई एनडीए के, अब largely I mean one can say, going by past trends, that Muslims and Yadavs are voting for Mahagathbandhan in large numbers, let's say, correct. And this 125 free units will be given to everybody, सबको मिलेगा। तो कितने लोग होंगे मुस्लिम यादव समाज में जो इस 125 फ्री यूनिट्स की वजह से अपना वोट एमजीबी की बजाय एनडीए को दे देंगे? ये नंबर होगा बहुत कम, क्योंकि ये फिक्स्ड वोटर की बात कर रहे हैं, ये स्टिकी वोटर है, इस पे इसका कोई इंपैक्ट नहीं है। ये 125 यूनिट आपने नहीं भी दिया होता तो लार्जली अपर कास्ट, कुर्मी, महादलित एनडीए को वोट करता था, वैसे भी करता। तो इसका इंपैक्ट किस पे है? इसका इंपैक्ट है न्यूट्रल वोटर पर, जो हर चुनाव में दूसरी अलग अलग पार्टीज को देता है, या स्विंग वोटर पर, उसको स्विंग वोटर कह लीजिए, या फ्लोटिंग वोटर पर, जो किसी आइडियोलॉजी से अलाइंड नहीं है, उस पर फर्क पड़ता है, ठीक है, जो कि लगभग 20% होगा। अब जिसने भी, अब जैसे एनडीए ने ये 125 फ्री यूनिट दिए हैं, तो उसकी, अगर वो सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है इस नैरेटिव या इस कैंपेन को क्रिएट करने में कि इससे बहुत सेविंग्स हो जाएंगी किसी भी परिवार को in terms of financial savings, and if they are able to spread that message to each and every booth and make this as the top most motivating factor to go to the booth, then it will impact that voter. इसका इम्पैक्ट होता है लार्जली स्विंग न्यूट्रल वोटर पर होता है। कुछ वोटर ये भी कहते हैं कि भाई देखिए, जो लीडर है या एमएलए है, सरकार है, 5 साल बाद तो ये दिखेंगे नहीं, अगले 5 साल ये दिखने वाले नहीं है, so take whatever they are giving. So this is to an official, you can say, I would not say a bribe, but it's an official way of wooing voter. Then there is cash distribution, then there is liquor distribution, then there is everything, correct. Some voters are fine कि बस ये तो दिखने वाला नहीं है 5 साल, जो हमको अभी मिल रहा है इनसे ले लो। It's like a barter, it's like a, so it has an impact, but largely on swing voters, and that too if the government is actually able to create that powerful messaging and make it reachable to each and every polling booth.
तो आज का ये वंडरफुल सेशन रहा। पूरी तरह से देखा जाए तो हमने 1 घंटा का डिसाइडेड रहता है ये डिस्कशन, और मोर देन 1 आवर हो गया है। और स्टार्टेड विथ पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन, जहाँ पे एक एक चीज़ों को किस तरह से डेटा से सपोर्ट किया गया डिस्कशन को। वो मैं एक नए नए अगर देखा जाए ऑडियंस जो पहली बार भी देख रहे होंगे चीज़ों को और पॉलिटिक्स को समझना चाह रहे होंगे, तो उन सभी चीज़ों को बहुत बारीकी से दिखाया अमिताभ सर ने, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और लास्ट तक जो डिस्कशन रहा कि आपने किस तरह से अलग अलग करंट इश्यूज को या हमारे ऑडियंस के तरफ से जो क्वेश्चन आए, जैसे बाढ़ से संबंधित, नोटा से संबंधित, या करंट में जो बेनिफिट्स गवर्नमेंट अनाउंस करती है, जैसे 125 यूनिट जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, या कुछ अनाउंसमेंट जो बनाया जाता किया जाता है, इन सभी चीज़ों पे खुल करके आपने बात रखी सर। और मुझे लगता है ये जो भी अगर ये सेशन देखे हैं और इसको यूट्यूब पे भी अपलोड किया जाएगा, तो उस बिहार को लेकर के एक पर्सपेक्टिव बना हुआ है कि केवल कास्ट ही फैक्टर होता है बिहार जैसे स्टेट में, तो उसके बियॉन्ड सोच पाएंगे। दूसरा एक सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट मुझे एक चीज और लगा, और मुझे ये लगा कि वोटर्स जो हैं, जहाँ पे प्रायोरिटी उनके लाइफ में उनका डे टू डे स्ट्रगल होता है, वो अपने खाने के लिए स्ट्रगल करते हैं कि उनका कैसे घर परिवार चले, एट द सेम टाइम इलेक्शन में किस तरह से बाहर से प्रेशर होता है, एक तरह से इलेक्शन कमीशन कहिए या मीडिया कहिए, वो अलग उनका प्रायोरिटी रहता है कि इलेक्शन को बहुत हाइप करके दिखाया। इस चीज रियलिटी को भी आपने दिखाया अपने डेटा से और अनुभव से, वो बहुत ही अच्छा रहा। उसके लिए भी आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और किया, और हम लोग इस तरह का और वंडरफुल सेशन करते रहेंगे, उसके लिए आप दोनों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और इसके साथ साथ हमें टेक्निकल सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर रहे थे और दूत फ्रॉम अजीम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी, और हमारे इस पूरे आइडिया को जो मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, वो हैं मुकेश भैया, उनको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और रौनक ने इस सेशन को पूरा स्टार्ट किया, इंट्रोड्यूस किया, उसके लिए उनको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट हमारे ऑडियंस और इसमें टेक्निकल जो बैकग्राउंड हमारे सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, उनको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप लोगों को इजाज़त से इस सेशन को हम यहीं पे
वेरी